Walk into any dealership today and you'll feel it instantly. Pure desperation. Sales managers who used to treat you like garbage are now practically begging, offering deals that seemed impossible just months ago. Those $80,000 trucks they once protected like gold bars, now they're financial poison, bleeding dealers dry every single day they sit unsold. We're talking $20,000 discounts and they still can't move them. But here's what should terrify you. Even at rock-bottom prices, smart money is running. These trucks aren't just overpriced, they're fundamentally toxic.
Let's start with the Ford F-150 Lightning, the truck that was supposed to prove America could lead the electric revolution. Ford spent millions in advertising showing this thing conquering job sites and revolutionizing work. The reality couldn't be more different. According to EPA testing data, the moment you hook up a trailer, the thing trucks are supposed to do, the range gets cut in half. We're talking about a truck that promises 300 miles, but delivers 150 the second you actually try to use it for truck work. Ford's own internal data shows that in temperatures below 20 degrees Fahrenheit, that already reduced range drops another 40%. Real-world testing by automotive journalists has confirmed these numbers repeatedly. Picture this: you're a contractor in Minnesota trying to get to a job site in January, towing your equipment, and your revolutionary work truck dies on the highway because the battery can't handle the cold. But the Lightning's problems go deeper than just inadequate range. Department of Energy data shows that over 30% of public charging stations are non-functional at any given time. Ford promised a robust charging network to support these trucks, but the reality is broken charging stations, wait times that stretch for hours, and a network so unreliable that Lightning sales have dropped 50% year over year, according to Ford's quarterly reports. The financial nightmare gets worse when you consider replacement costs. Industry data shows that replacing an extended-range Lightning battery pack costs $35,960, more than many entire trucks cost. That's not a repair, that's buying another vehicle. Ford has issued multiple safety recalls affecting 2022 through 2024 model years for battery cell defects that can cause fires. The Lightning has been recalled at least 3 times in its short life, from battery fires to inoperative lights. Ford's production chaos tells the complete story. The company halted Lightning shipments multiple times throughout 2024 due to quality issues, leaving commercial customers waiting 8 weeks for orders. Ford even shut down Lightning production from November 18th to January 6th, 2025 to tackle massive inventory problems, trucks nobody wants sitting on lots bleeding money. One commercial customer reported delays stretching 8 weeks, while hundreds of Lightnings piled up in Detroit holding lots. This isn't the future of American trucking. It's a cautionary tale about putting politics before practicality and betraying working Americans who need vehicles that actually work.
If you're starting to see the pattern here, hit that like button, because what I'm about to tell you about the Hummer EV will blow your mind. General Motors thought they could top Ford's disaster with the GMC Hummer EV, a 6-figure electric monster that was supposed to represent the pinnacle of American engineering. Instead, it became a monument to corporate arrogance. This thing weighs 9,046 pounds, according to GM's own specifications, burns through $400 tires every 12,000 miles, according to Tire Rack data, and delivers a real-world range of maybe 150 miles when you're actually using it for truck purposes. Here's where the math gets really ugly. Industry data shows that dealers pay an average of $47 per day in floor plan interest for every unsold vehicle. For a Hummer EV sitting on a lot for 6 months, that's over $8,500 in pure carrying costs before a single sale is made. GM sales figures show Hummer EVs averaging 127 days on dealer lots, compared to the industry average of 45 days for conventional trucks. But wait, it gets worse. GM had to halt Hummer EV production in September 2024 because nobody was buying them, affecting the entire Detroit Hamtramck assembly plant. Sales collapsed 83% year over year in 2023, dropping from 272 units to just 47. Despite over 65,000 initial reservations, reality hit when customers saw the actual product. The maintenance nightmare is just beginning. Extended warranty contracts cost up to $2,000 additional, and that's before you consider that those massive tires cost more to replace than most people's monthly rent. When your truck weighs as much as 2 regular pickup trucks, everything wears out faster and costs exponentially more. GM's own service departments are struggling with parts availability and specialized training required for these complex electric monsters. The corporate desperation shows in GM's marketing pivot. After bragging about overwhelming demand, they quietly stopped taking reservations and are now practically giving these things away with incentives that would have been unthinkable just months ago. This isn't innovation, it's corporate ego meeting market reality, and the market is winning.
These aren't isolated incidents, they're symptoms of a much bigger problem. The Chevrolet Silverado and GMC Sierra, trucks that were supposed to represent the reliable American workhorse, are destroying their own engines with a technology called cylinder deactivation. It sounds fancy, right? Save fuel by shutting down half your cylinders during light driving? The reality is that NHTSA complaint data shows over 700 filed complaints about lifter failures in 2022 alone, with the average failure occurring at 62,000 miles. The repair costs are staggering. According to RepairPal data, lifter replacement on these engines averages between $4,200 and $5,800. For a truck that costs $75,000 new, that's not a repair bill, that's a systematic failure. GM's own technical service bulletins acknowledge the problem exists across multiple model years, yet they continue producing engines with the same flawed design. The problem isn't limited to just the lifters either. Independent automotive research shows that these cylinder deactivation systems create oil pressure fluctuations that damage valve springs, rocker arms, and timing chains. What was marketed as a fuel-saving innovation has become a mechanical nightmare that's destroying the reputation GM spent decades building. The legal fallout tells the complete story. Multiple class action lawsuits are now active against GM, with one Michigan case alleging GM knowingly sold vehicles with defective active fuel management lifters without disclosure. Settlement amounts are reaching over $2,149 per affected vehicle in some states. GM's own service bulletins now instruct dealers to replace every V8 lifter on their lot before selling new trucks. Admitting the problem is so widespread, they can't even sell vehicles without preemptive repairs. The desperation shows in the aftermarket industry. Companies like Range Technology are making millions selling AFM delete devices because GM owners know their engines are ticking time bombs. Mechanics report that Silverado and Sierra engines with this technology rarely make 100,000 miles without major internal damage. When truck owners are willing to void their warranties immediately after purchase just to prevent catastrophic engine failure, that tells you everything about GM's so-called innovation. Make sure you're subscribed, because this story gets even worse. The mid-size market was supposed to be different. Smaller trucks, simpler engineering, better value. The Chevrolet Colorado and GMC Canyon promised all of that. What they delivered was every problem from their full-size siblings crammed into a smaller, more expensive package. NHTSA data shows 47 recalls for the Colorado between 2015 and 2023, including transmission failures, differential problems, and electrical system malfunctions. Consumer Reports reliability ratings for both the Colorado and Canyon fell to below average by 2022, with transmission problems being the most cited issue. The average repair cost for transmission replacement on these vehicles, according to RepairPal, is $3,400 to $4,100. For trucks that start at $38,000, that represents over 10% of the vehicle's value in a single repair. The transmission problems in these mid-sized trucks are particularly frustrating because they manifest in multiple ways. Some owners experience hard shifting and jerking during acceleration. Others report the transmission going into limp mode randomly, leaving them stranded on highways. The worst cases involve complete transmission failure, often occurring just after the warranty expires. But the diesel option makes everything worse. The 2.8-liter Duramax diesel promised better fuel economy but delivered constant headaches. Forum posts show recurring DF quality poor messages, forcing trucks into limp mode with no check engine lights, leaving owners stranded. DPF systems fail as early as 70,000 miles, throwing P2459 errors and reducing engine power while towing. Replacement costs average $4,500. The market has spoken with brutal honesty. While Toyota Tacoma leads the class in resale value despite higher prices, Colorado and Canyon values plummet faster than their full-size siblings. Independent comparisons consistently show Tacoma advantages in reliability, resale value, and overall quality scores. Even Colorado owners admit they're tempted to switch to Tacoma because reliability matters more than features. GM's technical service bulletins acknowledge these issues across multiple model years, but underlying design problems remain unfixed. What should have been GM's answer to Toyota dominance became another reliability nightmare, with used values reflecting buyer skepticism about long-term dependability.
But perhaps the most tragic story in this whole mess is the Nissan Titan. After years of trying to compete with Ford, Chevy, and Ram, Nissan announced in 2023 that the Titan would be discontinued after the 2024 model year. Sales data tells the whole story. Titan sales dropped 24% in 2022 and another 31% in 2023. Dealers are stuck with inventory that's now officially obsolete. According to automotive news data, discontinued vehicle models lose an average of 15% additional depreciation in their first year post-announcement. For Titans still sitting on dealer lots, this creates a double hit: normal depreciation plus discontinuation penalty, while dealers continue paying $40 to $50 per day in carrying costs. The Titan's fundamental problems went far beyond poor sales numbers. The 5.6-liter V8 endurance engine, despite sounding powerful, delivered mediocre fuel economy and questionable long-term reliability. Early models suffered from rear axle seal leaks that plagued 2004 through 2006 Titans, where poor underbody venting caused seals to overheat and fail during long trips or in hot climates. But the death blow came from Nissan's inability to establish a proper dealer network for commercial customers. When truck owners report going to multiple parts stores without finding basic oil filters or waiting weeks for backorder crank sensors while making payments on undrivable trucks, the writing was on the wall. Forum discussions reveal owners struggling with parts availability even before discontinuation, with many saying they'll have to get creative as aftermarket support only gets worse. Most damaging was Nissan's passenger car dealer mentality in a commercial vehicle market. Contractors and fleet buyers need parts availability and service expertise that Nissan's network simply couldn't provide. When your work truck breaks down on a job site, you need a dealer within reasonable distance who stocks parts and understands commercial needs. While Ford, GM, and Ram built networks designed for working trucks, Nissan tried to sell work vehicles through dealers trained for Altimas and Sentras. The tragic irony is that many Titan owners genuinely love their trucks for their reliability and capability. But loving a good product doesn't matter if you can't get it serviced when it breaks. Nissan's Titan wasn't killed by poor engineering, it was killed by corporate neglect and a fundamental misunderstanding of the truck market's service requirements. This collapse represents the death of a promise that built America. For generations, pickup trucks built our cities, hauled crops, and carried working families through decades. My grandfather's 1979 F-150 had over 350,000 miles when traded, only because the seat wore out, not the engine. Compare that to today's disasters needing major repairs before warranties expire, trucks that can't tow in cold weather, spending more time at dealers than job sites. We've gone from Golden Gate Bridge durability to smartphone fragility, complex, fragile, designed for replacement rather than repair. But here's the hope. American consumers are smart and won't keep falling for this nonsense. The market is correcting itself the hard way. Trucks that don't work sit unsold. Companies that betrayed customers are losing billions. The power has shifted back to you, the buyer. This isn't just price correction, it's reckoning. Companies that forgot customers are paying the price. Smart buyers finally get deserved respect. Knowledge is power, but only if you act on it.